Mr. Anand Gurumurthy, are you saying that before this spell of heavy rains, which I agree, it's been very, very heavy rains in Bengaluru, before this spell of heavy rains, all potholes in the city were covered? There were no potholes at all in Bengaluru?
As per the statistics given to the government by the BBMP, most were covered, okay, and taken care of. But now when they are seeing these rains from the last 2 weeks, they're telling we'll go back to the statistics and we'll figure it out what is happening.
So because every few months there are pothole deaths, there are pothole injuries like this that are reported.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that statement.
Every few months, sir, in Bengaluru, you get some news like this of Bengalurians paying the price sometimes with their life because of potholes.
No, see, it's a large city and the population is high, the traffic density is high. They are doing their job. We cannot, completely complain about the shoddy job or something like that, okay? But they are doing their job, and the opposition also understands this. They were in the ruling party, okay? Just a couple of years, they were also ruling party. Aiyshwarya speaks as if there was no accidents when Congress was ruling, and there are accidents when BJP is ruling. That's quite wrong in democracy. We have to understand this is a continuous process, okay? And we have to focus on this from the point of view how in long term we can solve this, okay? We are trying to solve it scientifically, and we are getting some input from Indian Road Congress so that some patches of the road, especially where there are valleys where water clogging happens or where the drainage system is good enough, but when the rainfall is very heavy, there's a little bit of clogging. They are coming up with some solutions wherein they'll have cobblestones.
This sounds great. It sounds great. I hope it happens on the ground. But the reality is, this has been talked for quite some time and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in Bengaluru. All this sounds very promising, but then we take everything with a big bag of salt because nothing's changed in the city. I'll come back to you, Mr. Gurumurthy. I want to bring in Aiyshwarya also on this.
Just a moment. Give me a moment. See, it's a very wrong statement to say, and as well very strong to say that nothing has happened on the road. Things are happening, but in certain spaces, okay, you cannot just change the entire city within a day or a night.
No, it's not.
They are doing it.
One second. No, Mr. Gurumurthy, it's not about changing the city. I've lived in Bengaluru. I know the kind of traffic mess that's there, but the problem is that there's poor infrastructure also to add to it. And that is simply negligence and corruption that is to blame for that. The fact that everyone looks away. Aiyshwarya, Mahadev, I'll also bring you in on this. Because it's not one government that's guilty. This has been the problem by successive governments, by successive administrations that have done nothing at all to address this.
You know, Akshita, first and foremost, the BJP will say we haven't had enough time. We've recently taken over. It was the Congress before and whatnot. But if they're a party with a difference, they obviously should have pumped in more for infrastructure, should have also planned and should have had preparedness and emergency response. And that is something that is not forthcoming. And Akshita, you have been in Bangalore. You have lived here. I have lived here for a predominant period of time. And I can tell you that I've never seen the infrastructure to such a level. And that is also because there's a massive nexus between the people doing the public work for you and also corruption and the percentage that goes to the government. You cannot take away from the fact that you see the quality dropping to such a phenomenal level that flyovers that are inaugurated are shut down within a week. The roads opposite the Vidhan Sauda, the Shakti Sthal of my state, are massively pothole ridden. You see Sankey Tank having a 6-foot crater after weeks after it was just retard. And it cannot just be a problem of the bitumen. It has to obviously be a serious issue of quality and nobody checking it, because your channel was the one that very responsibly had that expose about contractors themselves talking about the bribes that they have to give and how the quality of work suffers. And at this point, you can blame any previous government, but singularly you as a government today and in the BJP especially, because the BBMP does not exist of elected representatives, you cannot abdicate your responsibility to the people of this state. And the condition, for example, Akshita, this is not just Bangalore. The Nanjangud-Mysore highway is up to 8 feet in water, and this is a national highway where you see cars that have had their engine seized because they cannot navigate through. You've seen what happened to Chanpatna. You've seen what happened to the Bangalore-Mysore, the greatly touted BJP contribution of those 6-lane highways. And you've seen what has happened to the entire state. This is a systematic problem fueled and further worsened by the corruption that is rampant in the BJP, Akshita, and the BJP can try to justify it, but the reality is for everybody to see.
I'll give the BJP a chance to respond to this. Is all of this, is Bengaluru and Bengalurians, are they paying the price for quite simply corruption?
See, basically I'll tell you one thing, okay? The 4-lane highways, that concept that started was during Atal Bihari Vajpayee's time, okay? And what happened near Chanpatna was also something which Aiyshwarya knows very well and comes on national news and says something bad about Karnataka. That's really, really pathetic.
Not talking about the
And I
truth
will
is
give you a
not
plan. Please,
defamation or
Aiyshwarya, I
bad.
didn't disturb
It
you
is
when you were
reality.
speaking. Please,
Don't accuse
Aiyshwarya.
me of lying or
Please, Aiyshwarya,
embarrassing
let
my
me
city.
speak.
I am more Kannadiga
I
than
did
anybody
not
else,
disturb you.
and I will still talk
When you
about
were
what is
speaking,
wrong
I
with
did
my
not
state.
disturb you,
One second,
Aiyshwarya.
Aishwarya, let him finish. Let him finish. I'll give you a chance to respond.
This is so very bad when she understands the stretch of Bengaluru-Mysuru road. She understands it more than me, okay? And she knows what happened there. Old lake bunds burst out, and that moment that incident happened, after it has been corrected. And she comes on national news. Okay, fine. That is Congress' way of doing things. Let them do it. But I want to explain one thing very clear here. Okay, this is not about, as you said, as the anchor said, this is not about incessant governments, whether it is BJP or Congress. I am also a citizen, you are also a citizen, Aiyshwarya is also a citizen who stays in Bengaluru. Okay, and we all understand this, and we are progressing in steps. Okay.